Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the CISA 2026 Alumni Panel webinar. We are joined by some incredible, amazing, spectacular alumni from CISA's past. And they are here to talk about their experience, to give some tips and tricks about the application process, answer any direct questions that you have for them. It's going to be amazing. I have a short slide presentation, just general information about CISA, and then some announcements. So sit back, relax. Put your Zoom on mute. If you have a question, pop it into the chat, and then we will get to it once we open it up. But before I have a really cool announcement, we've been doing department-specific webinars throughout the outreach season, and we just added on Monday, February 23rd, an architecture and environmental design webinar with our wonderful chair. So that webinar will be once again Monday, February 23rd at 5. You can go to the CISA website to click the link to join it and then learn all about architecture and environmental design, the newest eighth discipline that has been added. We're so excited about it. So we're here talking California State Summer School for the Arts. It's a month-long summer residential art program for high school students in the state of California. We are a state-run program. We've been around for almost 40 years. I'm Jessica Hemingway. I'm the program manager of the CISA Foundation. I'm joined by Stacy Savoca, incredible CISA admin and support, and of course, our wonderful alumni, which we will do introductions in just 1 second after I do a quick slide presentation. So this is our community. We're composed of over 400 students, and we have about 150 faculty and staff that support the students during the summer session. So the ratio of student to teacher is about 3 students to 1 teacher. It's a lot of individualized attention and one-on-one time with your instructor. We pull from across the state as it is part of our mission to represent each of the 58 California counties. In addition, we have a small number of students who come from out of state and even international regions, but we keep that pool small to about 20 students out of the 400 plus student community because we want the bulk of our population to be California State students, because we're a California State program. And for our alumni that are on this call, from 25 specifically, this is the picture. You can Where's Waldo yourself and find yourself. But I like to say to prospective students, picture yourself here. This could be you. So as I said, CISA is a residential program, which means coming to CISA is your opportunity to live like a creative college student while you're still in high school, get a little independence, a little time away from the parents and the siblings to kind of come into your own and study your art. And we're located on the Cal Poly Pomona campus for the first time ever. We're really excited about that. While you're on campus, you have access to all of the amenities that Cal Poly has to offer. You're going to live in the dorms. You'll have your meals in the main cafeteria. We provide 24/7 safety and security for you, including RAs that live in the dorms with you. And we also do recreational activities and go on field trips. There's lots to do when you're not studying your art. Speaking of art, we offer 8 unique disciplines: animation, architecture and environmental design, dance, film, music, theater, visual arts, and writing. You apply to focus on one of these areas. Many of them have electives and choices within the area. And if you're somebody with more than one artistic interest, you're welcome to submit an application for each discipline that you are interested in. It just furthers your chances of having a summer at CISA. So it's an online application. You can apply right now. Hopefully, everybody on this call has started their application. You go to cisa.ca.gov/application. The application has 4 main parts to it. First part is contact information. The second part are references from a teacher, an artist, an employer, mentor. The third part are transcripts. You can upload an unofficial copy to the online app, and these transcripts are only to certify your grade level. We're not looking at grades. We just want to verify that you're within the age range that is for CISA. You can be as young as 8th grade going into 9th grade, all the way up to a senior in high school this semester, graduating in the spring. You can still have a summer at CISA after you graduate. And then the fourth part of the arts assignments, which are outlined on our website for each discipline. And then the application deadline is coming up February 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. So you want to make sure you have all your assignments completed and submitted by that final hour at the latest. And then the CISA team is going to review your application during the month of March, and notifications will go out the following month. So apply and submit as early as you can. If you have questions, you can email comments@cisa.ca.gov. You can follow us on the socials. We're posting, updates and everything about the application that you need. And of course, scoot on over to our YouTube channel because all of our webinars that we've done this outreach season have been recorded and put on YouTube. So they're a great application resource for you, especially that financial aid webinar where we go through the application line by line and show you how to fill it out. So that's a great resource for you. But without further ado, I'm going to stop the share and we're going to pivot. We're going to talk to our alumni. They have generously offered their time to talk to you and answer your questions. So let me just start spotlighting everybody. We're going to start spreading the news. We got Finn. We got Jose. We've got Mila. We've got Jacqueline. We've got Amber. I'll spotlight myself also. And then Sammy, where are you? Here we are. All right. Please introduce yourself, wonderful alumni. Name, CISA year, what you studied. And Finn, will you start us off?
Sure. Hi, I'm Finn. I was a CISA 2025, so this past year, and I was in the theater discipline.
Woo-hoo. Will you popcorn it around? Pick the next person.
Jose, you're next on my screen.
Thank you so much, Finn. Buenas tardes, everybody. My name is Jose Soreke. I was in the class of 2025, same as Finn last year, and I was in the film discipline.
You want to pick the next person?
And
Great.
Amber could go next.
Hi, my name is Amber. I'm also a 2025 alumni, and I was in the visual arts department. And I'll popcorn to Neela.
Hi, my name is Neela. I was in the visual arts department alongside with Amber. And I attended in 2025.
And who's next?
Let's go, Jacqueline.
Hi everyone, I'm Jacqueline, or also Jax, and I also attended CSSSA 2025, and I was a part of the animation department. I'll pass it off to Samantha.
Hi, I'm Sammy, and I was part of CISA 2023 and 2024, and I was in creative writing for both years.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. All right, let's dive into our first question here. So we're going to keep these questions focused more on the application process, for any prospective students out there who are putting, all the time and effort into their application right now. So we'll go in kind of the same order that we did the introductions. So Finn, we'll start with you. How did you find out about CISA? What drove you to apply?
Yeah, so for me, my CISA application process was actually kind of crazy. I found out about it from my theater teacher when she was passing out flyers to anybody who was interested in it, and I followed up. But I actually found out about CISA like 3 days before the deadline. So it was a crazy dash to get my application in. It was dramatic and difficult. I literally submitted it at like 4:59. Like it was ridiculous and absurd. Um, but I think I was driven to apply because I felt like at my high school, the experience I was getting wasn't as much as I wanted. I wanted something that was a little more. I wanted to try something at a higher level, and I thought CISA would be a great way to kind of dive into that, and it really was.
Awesome. Thanks, Finn. Jose, same question.
I heard about it from my best friend, Raz Wells. They were an alumni. They took the class the year before me. They were also in the film department, and they were like, "Oh, your art style is going to be great here. You're going to fit right in. You should apply." So that's where I heard it from. And I applied because of how prestigious it was. Like I've never heard about that. No one in my bloodline has like ever heard of that, or like at least people in my community. It's just something that has not been heard of that much. And I just wanted to make my family proud and show that I could do film on like a professional scale.
That's beautiful.
I found out about it because I was a teacher's aide for my art class senior year, and my art teacher, who is like a sister to me, I saw her putting it up, and I was like, "What is that?" And she's like, "Oh, I was going to tell you to apply," and I'm like, "I don't think I'm going to get in. This is really prestigious." And then she just kept pushing me towards doing it, and then I finally did it. She helped me out with the application process, and yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amber, same question.
Found out about CISA because my sister was an alumni back in 2021, I believe. And
Wow.
then on top of that, I'm a part of this other program called Venice Arts in Los Angeles. And they kind of motivated me to apply. And I was really driven because I love photography, but I did not have access to like film processing and like learning about film. So that's what really drove me to like apply and, pursue specifically the photo department.
Awesome.
What drove me to apply and like how I figured out about CISA was basically YouTube. I was, I like to watch a lot of different animations from like CalArts and all these different organizations. And then one time I saw the name CISA and I was like, what is that? I don't know what that is next to the animation title. So I searched it up and I thought, oh, that's really cool. They made that there. So then I was doing more investigation and I thought I really liked that it was at CalArts. And then I liked all the resources it provided and it really seemed like an opportunity I didn't really have here in the Bay Area. There's not like a lot of animation courses, and I thought this was like a great chance to really push myself and do something that I don't usually get to do here. So, yeah.
Thanks, Jax. Awesome.
I first heard about CISA, I think I was in like fifth grade around that time. Um, I think it was because a couple of animators that I really looked up to had attended the program and were like talking about it online. So I was like, I should look into that. Then fast forward to like high school. It was my sophomore year, and I was like, I feel like I need to do something because I just felt like I wasn't getting the arts. I hadn't gotten the arts education that I maybe needed, like at that point in school. So I was like, I should apply to CISA. I should finally like just take the plunge. And yeah, kind of what drove me to apply.
Take the plunge. I love that. Ah, such great answers. Thank you so much. All right, second question that I have is about the application process. And can you describe your application process? How did you get everything together? How did you choose between what you wanted to submit versus, anything else that you were considering? And then if you have any tips for completing the application, Finn, let's start with you.
So, like I mentioned, I found out about CISA like 3 days before the deadline. So it was it was rough for me. I had like scrambled to get a monologue ready and I don't know, threw something together. I can't believe that I got it in and made it. But I got through the main chunk of the application pretty quickly. It's pretty straightforward with the questions and things that they ask. And then the recording, specifically for the theater department, you have to record a intro video and then like a monologue, and then if you want, you can do a song. I did not get to the song. I didn't have time, but it was the application itself wasn't that difficult, but it was just like my time crunch. So I would say make sure you get on top of it ahead of time so you're not doing it at the last minute like I was. Although it wasn't my fault. And yeah, I think did you ask if there was tips about the application?
Hmm.
Yeah, time wise, just make sure you're on top of it. try not to overthink it a little too much. I feel like when I did my intro video, I did a lot of like listing of like it was like a job interview of like this is what I've done before and like you should let me in. But I feel like if I had talked a little more, I mean, it worked clearly, like I got in, but I think it's better. I think it's better if you talk a little more about yourself because that's what they care about, not what you've done, but what like who you are.
Wise words. Thank you, Finn. Jose.
Well, the good thing about my application process was that I had a little bit of prep time because my friend told me about it months in advance. So what I did was I took a month to write the script. I was polishing it a lot. It took me 1 day to film, so I filmed it in a day, and then I took 2 weeks to edit it, and then I took about a week to just sit with my thoughts and just write the application itself, like the written portion. And I would say just a word of advice, be really genuine or like real with your art. You know, like don't make something just because you're like, oh, I think they might like this or they might like that. Like, no, I made something specifically for myself to express what I was feeling related to the ice rates in United States in my city, San Jose. I was talking about the ice rates, how repetitive it was, how messed up it was. Like I made something that I needed to communicate, and I was serious. I was straight on with them. I was like, look, I want to make art. I don't have money. I don't know how I would pay to get in, but I want to come here. And then they gave me a full ride there. So just be really genuine with what you want to say and just be yourself. That's what I would recommend.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with what Jose said about all the, being genuine with what you make, and because you have to, part of the application is you do have to submit whatever it is like for your discipline. I had to make like three separate art pieces. One of them was a painting, actually two of them were paintings, and one of them was like one to show off my like skill in a certain medium. And I got a lot of help with it from my art teacher because I did not know what to decide on. Because I was like, should I do illustration? Because that's what I know best. And she's like, no, you should do something that you haven't done before and that you don't have resources to do here because I live in the middle of nowhere. So
Mm.
I did photography and painting. I don't really do either of those. And so it was super fun. And yeah, what Finn was saying, have time for it and don't do it in like a really short amount of time because I procrastinated and had like I turned it in like the day before the deadline. So it was kind of scary. But just be genuine about your work and your info that you're putting out into the application. Like you shouldn't sugarcoat your work just or like to display something that you think they will like. Like my pieces that I submitted were very personal to myself. And
Mm.
I think that, they want to know who you are and what your art represents. They don't want to see a specific thing because there's no rules in art. There's no like certain things like that, and so they just want to see what you can do, you know? So that's my advice is just be yourself.
Yeah, so wonderful. Thank you, Amber.
My advice too is to also be yourself. That's like the best way to get through this application, is to be yourself and be proud of the work you put out. Like be confident about what you're doing. It's a crazy application and yeah. Um, for me, I think it was a really simple process. It was just submitting three pieces. And thankfully, I go to an art high school, so I had a couple pieces kind of like accumulated that I could just pick through. But obviously, if you have to make these pieces, give yourself time. Also, give yourself time to think about exactly what you're gonna pick. Is it true to yourself? Maybe do you want to tell a narrative? Give yourself like a lot of grace, a lot of time, and yeah, be proud, be yourself. Love the work you do.
Yes. Great advice.
Yes.
Jack.
I would say the process for me was pretty tiring, but it was like well worth it. I would say like having for animation at least, we had to like do some animation, some drawings, writing, and recording of yourself, and those a lot of things were new to me. Like I'm not the best at animating, but I still really want to pursue this, so I still tried my best. And I think that's like a good faith effort. If you just do it, you don't have to be amazing because no one here expects you to be the top of the top. You just need to really show your passion and effort for your work. But I would say it just took a lot out of me because I need to be very vulnerable and very personal to myself to make art that I feel says something and truly says something about me and who I want to kind of represent within my artistry. And I think like for my tip with all that. I think, like everyone said, like give yourself a lot of time to reflect, not only just making the piece, but reflecting. Because I think that's a big portion of it. And also just like kind of putting yourself out there. Maybe that means like using materials you don't typically use. And maybe that means like approaching something from a different angle that maybe you wouldn't normally go from. Because I think all those different choices that are like not the typical ones and the ones that are true to yourself really make you stand out and will really like just show you at the end of it all.
Great. Thanks so much. Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with what everyone else said. Like, um, try not to procrastinate. I definitely did both times. But you're really gonna like be like whatever the outcome may be, you're gonna be a lot more proud of the work that you produce if you don't procrastinate. And it's just gonna show like it's gonna show more of you if you don't, I think is the main like thing. But yeah, definitely just be honest and take risks, I think is the big thing for me. Like, at least for writing, I know that you have to submit multiple examples of your writing according to a couple, they might give you some prompts or like things that they're looking for. Um, and like, I know we had the option when I applied to write, it was either a poem or a screenplay or like a piece. And I had never written anything like screenplay related, but I decided to take the risk by adapting something that I was already sort of comfortable with and adapting it into the screenplay format. It was definitely not formatted well, but it was like, but I think it showed like my passion for writing and like the fact that I was willing to try new things. And I think that's like really what they're looking for.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to augment our third question a little bit more. Originally, it was like, what advice do you have for somebody applying for CISA? But I'd like to augment it. So if there's somebody, a student who's a prospective student who's on this call, who's maybe suffering from a little imposter syndrome or on the fence about CISA, what advice do you have for that person? Finn, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a great question because I would say I had imposter syndrome going into CISA. I had imposter syndrome during CISA, and I had maybe a little bit after, but I feel way better after. So, like, I totally empathize and understand. Like, it's scary, the program seems very cool. It's very intense. It's a lot of work. Like, we're not gonna sugarcoat it. It is a very intense program. It's hard, but it's like it's such a game changer. Like it was so incredible. And I would say for anybody who's feeling like, "Oh, I don't know, like what if I'm not good enough?" Everybody who goes to CISA feels the exact same way and thinks the exact same thing. And they're like, "Oh, I don't know, I don't know." But you just have to kind of like we were saying, take the jump, take the leap of faith or whatever, because you won't know unless you try?
Great. Thanks so much. Jose.
I agree heavy with Finn, and I agree heavy with this question because I had really bad imposter syndrome going in and inside. Because I don't know, because when I got accepted, I was like, wow, like no one, I've never heard of anyone getting into this, like at least close to me, or at least like my race. And I was like, wow, wow, wow. And I remember when I was in there, I had culture shock and like imposter syndrome because I was like, damn, there's no Mexicans in here. I'm like, that's crazy. Like there was like barely any Mexicans, barely any Latina individuals. And I could even speak Spanish to people. Like I wouldn't remember making jokes in Spanish because it's just like in my head, it's wired and like no one would get it. So I just remember feeling a lot of imposter syndrome, and everyone is on a different scale of skill sets. So it was just really hard for me to like get adjusted to it. But then after a while, I was like, you know what? Don't think of it as imposter syndrome. Think of it as an opportunity to make your own community. So then I just started talking with anyone and everyone and just trying to like explain to them the jokes. Or even I remember I taught people how to dance a little bit to like some salsa, like just have fun. And even if you don't find necessarily like your people, make a community of your own, just embrace your situation and just make the most of it.
That's great. Thank you. Mila.
I agree with both Jose and Finn very heavily. And for like the application process, like I was very nervous about it. And so when I applied, I forgot about it. Like I just pushed it aside. And so I think there's no harm in applying because you genuinely don't know what the outcome's going to be, you know? And so I applied and I forgot about it genuinely. And then I look at my email, I'm like shocked I got in. And then, I was just like hyped all of a sudden. I wasn't dwelling on it. And I think when you go into something where you're scared or like dwelling or like really nervous about it, then it's gonna make you feel worse, you know? And so I just was like, apply, worried about it later. Then, yeah. And I was really scared that I wasn't gonna have any community or any friends. I was specifically really scared that my roommates would hate me for some reason. And the second I step into my dorm, my roommate and her family are like, hey, welcome, what's up? And yeah, and I'm very antisocial. I don't like talking to people. People just start talking to me. And I had like 30 friends, and I'm like, what's happening? Very strange, but yeah, it might seem scary, it might be scary the first couple of days at CISA, but like whether you like it or not, you're gonna have a community, and people are just gonna talk your ear off because they are looking for that same exact thing.
I love that. It's beautiful. Amber.
Don't get nervous. I would have to say, like, believe in yourself. And I really agree with what Finn said and Jose said. Like, there's everyone from different skill sets, different backgrounds, like different communities, and everyone there's genuinely so nice. Like, everyone is so friendly at CISA. Um, and yeah, I feel like I found a really good group of friends, a really good community of friends. I was really scared as well with like the heritage and the race side of it. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna find anyone who's Latino or who relates to those certain issues that are happening. And thankfully, I was able to find my group, and it's really nice because I'm still in touch with a lot of the people, and it genuinely feels like one of those friendships that will last for life. Don't feel the imposter syndrome. It's gonna be okay. Take the risk, experiment, have fun. That's all that really matters at CISA is just having fun and obviously trying to learn as much as you can. But overall, the gist of it, having fun, creating this community of artists, which is such a unique experience, and kind of like savoring the moment. 'Cause I don't know where else you're gonna find an experience like CISA. I still haven't felt anything similar to it in these past couple of months. So yeah.
I love that.
Um,
Jax.
I would say like the same thing, echoing everything like about kind of feeling nervous, but I would say just, like everyone has said, like to just go for it because when you get there, you might feel like maybe things are like tense and like, oh, like everyone's so good and blah blah blah, but you're also so good at something. That's why you're there, and everyone's great at something, and you can learn from everyone, and you can learn from one thing, and then people can learn from you, and that's why you're there because you have such like a unique identity that you presented in your application. And I just think that everyone's there for the same goal. Everyone wants to learn whatever they're learning in each of their departments. And there's also so many bonding activities there. Like I remember there was like dodgeball, I think, and there was movies, and there's just so many chances to just like hang out, meet new people. It doesn't have to be just your department, and it was just amazing. And I think you guys will be like have fun.
Thanks for bringing up the dodgeball. I tell people we do some of the sports, even though we're an art program, and nobody believes me. Sammy, go on, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I I agree with what everyone already said, but I think like one of the unfortunate things about being an artist, which if you're applying to CISA, you're an artist already. Um, I think is that like imposter syndrome kind of just comes with it. But I think like the thing about being like a good artist is you have to keep proving it wrong over and over again, and you're only going to be able to do that by actually trying. So I think like for a lot of people, CISA might be their first step in that, and you kind of just need to, you know, just give it a shot because yeah, there still might be some imposter syndrome when you get in, but at the same time, you're going to experience things and you're going to grow as an artist, which I think is the main goal, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I don't see any pointed questions in the chat here for any of our alumni. So I'm going to continue with some of the questions that I have. And then once we get through the next two, if you have any questions for any of our wonderful alumni on this panel, pop it into the chat. and they can answer them. So now I'd like to move into your actual CISA experience. Talk about your favorite class or memory or like example of something from your time at CISA that just like you think about it and you're like, oh yeah. Anybody have one of those that they can share? Finn, please start us off.
Oh, that's so hard. What did I write down? Favorite CC experience. Um, here we got a question. Um, okay, so I didn't have a monologue. Like I mentioned, I was looking for kind of more stuff from what my high school had to offer. So we didn't really work on anything like that. I haven't had that sort of experience before. So what I did was I just asked my theater teacher like, "Hey, do you have a monologue?" So I ended up doing like a random monologue from like a book of monologues, which I ended up having to change like at CISA, but I would highly recommend like if you have a play or any plays that you've heard of that you like, a play that you like is good because that means you have thoughts about it already, so something you can work on. Find a monologue anywhere, ask your theater teacher, ask your friends if they know things. Um, if I had more time, would I've learned a new one? I think, um, I think it is good to maybe have something fresher, but it also isn't bad to go in with a monologue that you already have that you've worked on. Um, but for us, at least, when we were at CISA, we took the monologues and we worked on them more, at least a little bit, and then we moved on onto a new monologue. Um, would I have done the music part if I had more time? Yes, I did start recording something, but I was like trying to do a new song and I didn't have time and it just was a mess. And so I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna do this and focus on this and make sure this is all done. And for singing, the theater department does not focus on singing, but there is a musical theater class, so there will be a chance for that. But it isn't a focus, just so you know. And then
Great.
should I say a favorite moment? I don't know. I just had a lot
Yes,
of fun.
please continue with your
I had
favorite
a lot of fun.
moments.
I don't know. I don't even know what my favorite moment was. All of it was great, but I did have a blast in contact improv. I must say that class was so fun every time, always, which was Jessica's class.
Oh, thank you. We have another question in the chat here about any tips for applying for the visual arts program. And Neela and Amber, when you talk about your favorite memory, I'll let you speak directly to that question. But before, Jose, favorite memory, experience, something that sticks with you.
I'll go with a memory. Mato, estoy ocupado. Ahorita regresas. Sorry, my brother. One of my favorite memories was the first day. First day coming in, I remember I was with another guy from the film department, and we were going to our dorms, and there was these two other guys in the elevator, and we were all really quiet. And then I look over and I'm like, "So what department are you guys?" And then they're like, "Film." I'm like, "Yo, same." And we started yelling and jumping on the elevator, and we got really hyped, and then we got really quiet when it opened because there were people there. But like, and then they ended up being like one of like my best friends walking out of it, like just that energy, that really good energy, which I think also is like a thing with everyone in the departments. Like I remember going outside and then just being like, "Yo, you're an artist, I'm an artist. Wow, let's make art." You know, like it was just really contagious. That like really really good energy we had. And when it came to like my department specifically, Suchi, the writing instructor, she's an angel. She's an angel. Oh my God. Like she helped me how to like redefine what I want to be as an artist. And she was just so helpful and she taught me how to write. And she was just a really good mentor. Like if you're looking at the film department, look out for Suchi because she's great. She's like really, really great. Talk to her. And Pietro's really cool too. That's it. Thank you.
And Neela, one quick second before you start, we're gonna have to say goodbye to Finn. Finn's gonna run off to rehearsal. So thank you so much, Finn. And Neela, please, your favorite memory, and then any tips.
Oh, okay. Let's see. My favorite memory, definitely going to the museums, going to the Getty, because I live in the middle of nowhere. There's no museums around me. Like the art galleries I have like 20 pieces at most, And so going to the Getty and I ran straight to the exhibit that had Vincent van Gogh's irises because Vincent van Gogh is I love that man. He's got me through a lot of tough times. And I stood there and I cried for like 15 minutes just staring at this painting. And I spent the entire 3 hours at the Getty or however long it was in that, like in the painting section of this museum. It's huge. And I kind of regret not going to the other parts of it, but that was awesome. And just like having friends. Like I don't have a lot of friends that like I don't know, have similar goals and interests as me. And so meeting all these people that are something like, hey, you want to eat with like us at lunch and stuff, and just having a big table full of like over 10 people that I can call my friends was like amazing, you know? And yeah, it was pretty awesome. And I remember what my roommate, she was in animation, so my other roommate and I, we all went to like an animation like screening thing with her. And then that was super cool too. Like going to like different meetings for different disciplines was super interesting as well. Um,
And what about
and
any tips for applying for visual arts specifically do you have?
um, hmm, was that person that was late?
I think
Yes. Okay.
so.
So basically, what I said earlier was be yourself with your art and don't be afraid to like make whatever it is that like expresses yourself. Like art can't be too dark or too gritty for this program. You can talk about political things, you can talk about whatever is a real issue to you or whatever you like represent. You know, like my for I don't know if the application is the same here for this year, but I had to submit three different pieces. One showing my understanding in a medium, and one that represented a political issue, and then one that represented me and like an issue I have. And so I made a painting of my self-portrait, but it was only in the colors of medication I was taking because I struggle with mental stuff. And so that is like a really personal piece. And some people might be afraid, like, oh, that's scary. I don't want to put myself out there like that. Go for it.
Mm.
Like, don't be afraid, you know, just be yourself. And in the application process, Finn was talking about it earlier, I think, but they said just be yourself and like just talk about who you are as a person and not necessarily what experience you have. Because it's not like a job application. You're just kind of trying to show that you belong in this program and that you really will benefit from what you learn, you know, and that you want to go here and get the fullest out of your experience. And so, yeah, I think that's the advice I have.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Amber.
Oh my God, I had a lot of great experiences at CISA. It's kind of hard to pinpoint one specifically. I have to agree with Neela. I really loved when we would all come during lunch or like breakfast, all come together. It was like I was in the photo department and we were a very small group. There was only like 14 of us. So I had to kind of branch out and obviously I wanted to branch out and I made a lot of friends in other departments in theater, painting, drawing, like all across the departments and it was so I will always cherish these memories where we would all just come together, eat, talk about what we were doing, talk about our passions. And it was just like so surreal. Like it it was just an amazing moment. Like we were all artists. We all share this kind of like, ooh, we all kind of share this passion for art. And it was just so great. Those like and also we were eating. Like I love eating food and stuff. So it's like two really great things. um, I would also have to say, like, being in the photo department was so amazing. I loved being in that department, and I really loved my teacher, Christopher. It was uh it was really intense because photo processing is like this crazy has like these crazy steps, but I think an experience that I really loved and something that I still take with me is that I learned to kind of just experiment and be myself, try new things, and I just love that feeling that I had while like photo developing, while processing my images was just like I took these photos, I'm doing all this like experimentation, just like that feeling of like, I guess, freedom when creating. It was really, really fun. And for the application process, we also had the same topics as, or I had the same topics as Neela, where I believe the first one was like something political, something personal, something that shows your skill. I wasn't too sure about the application, so I just submitted two photographs. The first photographic work that I submitted to show my skill was a film photograph of my dad, a self-portrait of him. And then the second photograph I submitted was a triptych that I did. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a part of this other program, and we were able to do this project in Manzanar where we were able to travel, learn about the history of Manzanar, how it's affected the communities here, especially in Venice. And I submitted my work from that project and I wrote about it. I also kind of wrote how even though I am not Japanese, I feel a little bit of there's a lot of hate going on right now towards Latinos. And I think I kind of connected in through that like bridge. It's like being hated just because just because of our heritage, it kind of sucks. So that's what I wrote about. And then the third piece I did was a doll of mine that I had made in middle school.
Wow.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like grab works from like years before. The reason I submitted that specific doll was because I was really proud of it. I made that doll in honor of my grandma. She's still here with us, but she taught me how to sew. And I thought, making that doll with sewing skills was like a way to honor her. So yeah, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't submit work that you feel shows who you are. Don't go in the application process trying to impress judges. Go in the application process being you and expressing who you are. Yeah, that's the best advice I can.
Thank you, Amber. Jack's favorite memory, favorite experience at CISA.
I would say I have like two favorite memories that kind of go hand in hand. I would say like the first one would be like the very very like late nights at the cafeteria, and you'd all be kind of like laughing from like being so tired, but we were animating hard at night for our final project, and then finally like that second favorite memory is just like getting to actually see everyone's artistry and all their animation and all their hard work, because it was just like so amazing to see everyone's different ways of approaching this final and like everyone's ideas and their art styles. And we also had to use analog, which is like cut out like paper or like stop motion, and seeing how everyone what people chose was just so cool. Like some people did like just paper stop motion, which was crazy to me because I don't think I could do that, but just seeing someone do that, and it was so amazing, and like it kind of inspired me to like maybe explore more of that more and challenge myself more. And I just think those were the best ones right there.
Awesome. Sammy.
Oh, yep, sorry. Just answering a question really quick. But I think there were so many good memories, but for me, it's gonna have to be okay. I'm gonna choose two, but
Nice.
so one of them was during 2024 CISA. Um, I was able to. It was during office hours with one of the instructors, Zay Amsbury, who's head of writing, um, and like I didn't really need like office hours to work on an assignment. Instead, it was more just an opportunity for us to talk and like sort of explore like options going forward with CISA and like um, not just CISA but like school in general and like how I want to continue on if I wanted to keep being an artist even after like either professionally or study in school or anything like that. And like that conversation still like sticks with me just because I don't know. It was great to be able to just have this sort of one-on-one with someone who treats you like an equal and like just really understands like where you're coming from. Um, and that really helped me with like the entire college application process when that eventually came up. Um, I don't know. It was also just a really nice chat. But I think my other one was probably just there was it was a screening of Rocky Horror Picture Show. Um, I remember me and my roommate decided we were just gonna go, and it was kind of late at that point. It was like, well, not that late, like 9 p.m. But it was late for us. And I don't know, it was the first time I've ever seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, and it was great, obviously. But also it was just like an opportunity to bond with this person who I'm still friends with. We still talk like on the regular, um, and sort of just get to know everyone around us. And like there was such there was such a great energy just the entire time, and it was nearing the end of CISA at the same time. So it was like it kind of felt like a last little hurrah for us, you know?
Love a last hurrah. So there's some questions in the chat that are more program related. I'm going to let Stacy answer those. And for the alumni who have answered questions, thank you so much. But a question that I see that has come up a few times is talking about schedule. So I'd love for maybe this will be our last question for the panel for you to talk individually about your schedule. What was it like? How did you manage it? Was there a lot of like working on assignments that had to happen after class? If you could just like run us through that. Jose, let's talk about the film department. Run me through what your schedule was like.
Well, scheduling wise, there wasn't a lot of homework per se. Like it's not like they give you a worksheet and they're like, fill this out by the end of the day. You know, it's like, no, no, no. It was more like we have two big assignments. We have a documentary and a thesis film, and it was working on stuff related to that. Whether that be a shot list or the screenwriting or editing, like it was just working on the projects itself. It wasn't necessarily like homework assignments. And from there, it just depends on time managing, if I'm being really honest. Because I know, for example, documentary, I directed my own. I got chosen to make my own documentary. And on top of that, I worked on two other documentaries with other people from the other class. So, so yeah, no, I worked on three documentaries, plus I helped out with other theses on top of my own. It's just a lot of time management. And yes, the days feel really long, but it wasn't a lot of late nights I had because I had to do work. It was more like because I was like socializing with people and like having fun. So yeah, no, don't worry about too much on the workload, but you will have to run around a lot and just stay focused. You know, like stay focused, eat whenever you can, sleep whenever you can, and just like you're also really hyper most of the time. Like you have a lot of energy because of like how fast everything is going. So yeah, fast paced, not that much homework, more like stuff to do, and just take it one step at a time.
Awesome. Mila, what about you in terms of the schedule?
Um, okay, so I was in sculpture, photography, and painting, and so mainly homework, we just would have to, like, before big assignments, we would have to, like, draft ideas for it and then show our teacher, what we were planning on doing. And then they'd be like, okay, what materials do you need? And then just go for it. And if you need help, ask us. And so that was pretty cool. It was pretty simple, but so a lot of the work we got done was in class. And then after in the, oh, what is it called? Like open studio. We had open studio. And so I would, like, they have open studio for I think most of the visual arts department. I'm not sure about other disciplines, but so like classes would end around 5, I think maybe, and then
Yeah.
open studio would go on to like 9 or like something around there. I don't know, but so I'd be in open studio a lot, and then I'd just be tired and just want to go to sleep, but then my roommates would keep me up. But time management, my friends and my roommates kept me on time. We all kept each other on time, and then we would like because if there isn't open studio, then they would have like activities like karaoke or like a pool party or something, and we would, or if there was just a time after open studio before curfew, we would like have a study session. We would work on things and like talk to each other and like how to plan for the next day. And so yeah, finding a group of people that can like help you stay motivated to do things and stay on track. Like I'm a very big procrastinator and I also was like kind of like emotionally exhausted. So I was like, I don't want to do this, I want to go home. But then my friends are like, no, you are going to do this and we're going to study, we're going to work on it. And I had a friend in painting. It was the due day and I had to finish something to put up in the gallery. And so my friend put up a list and she was timing me. She's like, you're going to work 40 minutes on this part. You're going to, and this is what's going to happen. And she saved me. She saved me. But yeah, find people that can help you with that. And yeah, just the homework I don't think is that bad unless yeah, it's not that bad. Because everything's fast paced and then just like what I said, people are gonna friends you make, they're gonna, want you to help them or help each other, and you just gotta kind of focus on that, I guess. You can't just be like, I'm just gonna not do it. Bad idea. You need to work on it, okay? So it's better with friends than just working on it by yourself and procrastinating, I think.
It's a very collaborative environment.
Yeah, and just like attending all the open studios you can. They saved me.
Nice. Amber, you want to talk about the schedule from your perspective?
Oh, um, I I feel like we didn't get that much homework. I think it more depended on like what you chose to do for your project. Like I was also in sculpture with Neela. I had sculpture, uh we had figure drawing, but we didn't get homework for figure drawing at all. Sculpture, figure drawing, photo, and then I had drawing, regular drawing. It really depends, like, again, like what your project is and how much effort you're going to put in. I think that's how you get your homework. And there's dedicated time to do those during the open studio. So it's like you finish class, you get to eat. I believe you have like maybe 30 minutes, and then you can just go into an open studio. And I believe it was like from like maybe 5 to like 8 or something like that. I I attended every single open studio every single day. Not because like I had to, I mean, yes, I had to do my projects, but I mainly attended open studios for photo just because I just kept wanting to work on my project. I kept wanting to printing, like I wanted to do printing. And it's like a very long process to just print one photo. It can take like those 3 hours. So yeah, and I felt like sometimes there wasn't enough time during class to do those certain things or like plan certain projects. Or if I just wanted to add like a bit more detail, I usually took that time and dedicated to the open studios. But usually after 8 o'clock, it's like your free time. You don't have anything to do, so you can hang out with friends, um, sleep early, shower, go to one of the events. I think for me, definitely some advice I would give is like find a buddy that you can go to open studios with. I know for like sculpture, I love sculpture, but sometimes I was like, oh, I just don't want to work it. Like it's like too much. And I remember me and a couple of friends would like, you know what, let's just all go. We'll work on it for an hour and then we can like separate and go into our other open studios for our main disciplines. So yeah, just find like a friend and like a buddy. And yeah.
Great. And Jax, with your answer about the schedule, could you also speak to this other question we got in the chat about independent work versus group work, if there's any of that in the program?
Sure. Okay, so I would say, you wake up. I woke up around like 7 because then I'd go over to go eat breakfast because class started at 9. And I'm pretty sure we were kind of maybe the earlier classes because I'm pretty sure some classes maybe started later. And then you would either do figure drawing class in the morning or you would do like just or sorry, you would do like art history instead, something like that. And then in the you have lunchtime and in the afternoon you would, do whatever you didn't do in the morning, gesture or art history, and then you would also do like some type of special class, like whatever week you're on. It might be like visual development week. It might be like you might learn a new technique through like Adobe or Dragon Frame, which is a stop motion program, and then you end at 4. But it doesn't really end because you have so much work, I would say, for animation. I don't know, in my opinion, I felt like it was a lot, and I would say a lot of people thought it was also like that because you have to fill a whole sketchbook out by the end of the program, and it needs to be like, really filled in. You need to make sure you're not like just doing whatever. You need to really put some time into it. And then you also have to do like homework assignments like simultaneously, and those are due pretty soon. So I'd say it was pretty tiring, but it was well worth it. And I think what like helped me was I had animation friends in my dorm room, so we would like grind, but also we'd like respect like 1 hour of our time to just like kind of chill and respect our like mental health, because I think that's also important because it can be really fast paced and it's really exciting, but also, to enjoy it still you need to make sure you give some time to yourself because you deserve it. You need some sleep, you need whatever you need, and then work it out. And for group projects and independent, they were very adamant about like for like your assignments that you turn in, they're all independent, but they said you could work together. Like maybe you want to sketch together, like whatever you want to do. I think like I would do that with my friends, especially when we were like at the field trips, we would draw together. So in that way, it could be collaborative, but they really want you to do your own work. But yeah.
Great. Thanks so much. Sammy, schedule, writing department. Let us know.
Yeah, I think at least compared to the other programs, the writing department is a lot more chill. But like so how it worked was um Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays, you had a 9 a.m. class, which was it changes every week, so that you can sort of experience like each different part of writing. They might be like screenplay or playwriting or poetry, and then in the afternoons you have your what's it called, your elective, which is a class that you choose at the beginning of your time at CISA, and then it sort of just is your class for the rest of the 4 weeks. Um, and then after your elective, you kind of have 2 to 3 hours of like it's office hours. So you can go talk to an instructor. You could go just like work in like a library or something and sort of just do like your work. There wasn't a lot of like really big projects or homework. Like most of the time, you could get most of it done during office hours. Um, and then like I think most of our assignments were free writes in the classes themselves. Um, so yeah, I remember for me, I think I woke up like 8 a.m. every day. And then it was pretty chill. And then the only thing that's different is Wednesdays, which Wednesdays the day starts around like 12-ish, and it's sort of just a day to like you're all of the writing students are brought together and you're split into little groups, and then from there you're given a prompt, and you sort of just like create an original piece and perform it for each other, which is a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, it's nothing too crazy. Most of the time you're done like by 5 p.m. and you're sort of free to like go do whatever. I think I did kind of have to learn how to manage my time a bit at CISA just because I was doing like an internship and summer school at the same time. Um, and like I think a big help was just like having friends who sort of also needed help like keeping themselves on track, and we sort of just watched out for each other. Um, and like yeah, overall like managing time wasn't too difficult. Um, but that is coming from like the writing perspective, because there were some nights when we would go into like a lobby and see all the animation students just around their like their screens just working late into the night. um yeah, writing was comparatively chill.
Thanks so much. Speaking of time, we're at the end of our panel. So if we did get to your questions, I put in the chat the email you can reach out to, comments at cisa.ca.gov. Stacy will answer any lingering questions that you have. And I just want to extend such a big thank you to all of our incredible alumni on this panel: Jose, Neela, Jax, Amber, Sammy, and Finn, who had to run to rehearsal. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, sharing the love of CISA, and inspiring any prospective students that we have on this webinar. It's been so great to, be in touch with you all and to hear about your journey and to see you thrive. So thank you so much for being a part of this. And thank you everybody for joining us. Get those applications submitted, and we'll hopefully see you at CISA this summer. Thanks everybody. Have a great night. Bye.